For wrestling diehards only, this is the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. Welcome into a special off-season edition of the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on IdahoSports.com. Of course, our experts and guests tonight would argue that there is no off-season in wrestling, but in terms of the high school season, here we are in the late days of August. My name is Brandon Bainey, and we are going to be joined by so many great pillars of the wrestling community tonight. And I'd like to introduce the first pillar. You know him as one of the great contributors to the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast, and as well as the author of all of the great written wrestling content here on IdahoSports.com, Al Fontes. Al, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you say us because we are going to have some really heavy hitting guests lined up tonight. But the reason why we are coming to you, and first of all, thanks to everybody who's here live tonight to celebrate what has been an incredible summer of wrestling in the great state of Idaho. You can watch this live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, Twitter account, X account, whatever you want to call it. You can also go back and watch a replay of this later. But we are here, Al, to talk about what all this hard work that has culminated in the first ever national championship for Team Idaho Wrestling over at the Fargo Nationals. What an exciting moment this was for our great state, Al.
It feels really great. Like I think I stated earlier, and I do it in my writing, I moved to Idaho 3 years, and once I started integrating myself into the Idaho wrestling, it didn't take me long to realize there was something special here. I can just tell by the environment, the culture that was cultivating, the hard work. And I started sharing that with a lot of my associates around the country that, write about wrestling. And it's exciting of what happened. It's surreal, to say the least.
Yeah, it's been an incredible build-up, multiple years, and so thanks to all the fans that are joining us tonight for this special off-season prepcast. I want to bring on our first guest, though, Al. We'll get out of the way and let the people see who they really came to watch tonight. Our first guest this evening is the coach of the Team Idaho wrestling program, Chris Owens. Coach Owens, thank you so much for joining us here on the Mat Chat Prepcast.
Thanks for having me, Brandon and Al. Yeah, it's great to be on. Take it easy on me. This is my first time. I've never watched it. I've heard a lot of great things about your show, so it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you just walked into the lion's den. No, I'm just kidding. But I do want to extend the invite. We're going to have Coach Owens on. We're going to have a couple of Idaho's standout wrestlers on the show tonight. So if you're a fan and you are watching this live and you want to give a shout out or ask a question, go ahead and do so in the comments. We'll put it up on the screen. And when we do the show, Coach, it's really fan driven. The fans really are the ones that drive the conversation and really steer us from topic to topic. So I'm hoping we get a lot of people participating tonight. And as they're watching, if you could hit that like button and then share this as well, that'll help everybody that wasn't here live tonight be able to find it a little easier tomorrow, the next day, etc. So Al, this is the guy. We have had so many conversations about Team Idaho wrestling and the trajectory that it's been on. And we already have our first comment of the night from Mr. Havas from up in Lewiston. Yeah, Coach. And of course, that's a great wrestling name that we heard all throughout the season. But Al, this is something we've talked about. This has been a multi-year process, and you always bring up the fact that per capita, Idaho shouldn't be doing what they're doing on the national stage, and yet here we are accomplishing great things.
Yeah, we don't. It's quality, not quantity. I can tell you right now, what has happened didn't happen by accident. I mean, I've looked at all the statistics, I put them down, looked at all the leading indicators since I've been here. So, Chris and I have talked about this, and he can talk more about this, but he's had a blueprint for action to implement a wrestling culture here, and I'll let him talk on it. But this didn't happen by accident. This is years of hard work, commitment, and dedication by him, coaches, family, you name it, volunteers. So this is a good time. I'll let Chris speak on his what he's done with great times.
Yeah. Tell us more about the blueprint, Coach.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the build-up, Al. Appreciate it. Right. So I think really it's kind of the plan. The core of the plan is to unite the state and get everybody working together and pulling on the rope the same direction. And it kind of comes from the top down, right? Primarily, Idaho USA Wrestling, we work with high school age and down, all the way to grassroots. So it's been, really important, to have a process in place and a plan in place for development, teaching, opportunities to travel and compete, and then also, growing the grassroots numbers around the state in the regions. So, the sport continues to excel, and with the goal of, filling up the high school rooms, right? So there's great, participation numbers in our sport represented at the high school level. So, but yeah, there's a lot of levels. I mean, we, with that plan, I guess a big part of it is getting, creating a network where our coaches can come together, have opportunities to work with their kids, develop them, coach them. And, great thing about wrestling, I don't know if other sports are like this, but you get a lot of coaches that are working with and developing wrestlers from other schools, right? There's a really unselfish part of our sport, to where I think, it's kind of a brotherhood where, you appreciate the hard work and the dedication of these young men and women, wrestlers that are, making dedication to, when it comes to Fargo, wrestling all the way into July, right? And it takes a high level, of dedication and just staying on track, right? And chasing a dream and a goal. So as a coach, from the coaching aspect of that, it's very rewarding. I call wrestling my drug, right? It's very rewarding to work with highly motivated high school wrestlers and, wrestlers of all age.
So Chris, you've been involved with Idaho USA since 1995. Was that your first year when she came from Oklahoma State and Boise State? Is that your first year, 95?
That sounds right, Al.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I think that was my first year coaching the Fargo team, and they weren't combined yet. It was just juniors. So, and I think if I remember right, we had like 13, maybe 15 wrestlers that went to junior nationals, and the cadets went, I think they wrestled like a week before that in Missouri. And there's quite a few of the kids that went to Fargo that were cadets because, the schedule allowed for kids to go to both.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Real quick, Al, I wanted to bring on our third member of the Matt Chat Prepcast. You see him every week during the wrestling season. Brian Zollinger is also here with us tonight. Brian, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing? Just been listening and enjoying it. Hearing from Coach Owens is always great.
Yeah. Fellow East Idaho guy. So Brian, you got a question for Coach Owens?
I think Al's asked about everything I have. I mean, I grew up watching Coach Owens. He was when I was a kid, he was one of my heroes, watching him at Skyline and Idaho Falls High School, and his name's on the wall in both schools now. And, it's just an impressive job he's done. So
I have a question for Coach Owens. Describe to me what it felt like when you realized that, hey, we just won Fargo Nationals. How early on did you know? Was it not until the very end? Just describe that whole feeling.
Great question. Right. Great question. I think I've been asked that a few times, and I think, my answer kind of is, kind of twofold. With the scoring system in Fargo, you don't really know where you're at until the very end, because you don't score team points. The only team points scored are placement points. So there's no, activity points like for like a pin or a tech to fall like it would be like at a high school tournament, right? Or advancement points. So the only team points you score are placement points. So you feel like, we felt like we're doing well, but you really don't know how the other teams are doing, right? So it's such a big tournament, and it's really from one match to the next match. I get all my coaches assigned, so they have their wrestlers that they're with from the very beginning of the tournament, and they follow them through. But as wrestlers go out of the tournament, because it's a double elimination tournament, we have more coaches available, and obviously our support system grows as we go through the tournament. Some of those were watching, and I think they had a pretty good feel on it. And I don't really buy into that. I just feel like help each wrestler do the very best they can in each match, and results kind of take care of themselves. But that's just the coaching side of me, right? Obviously, I did care. But more than anything, it was really fun and exciting to see the wrestlers do their very best and reach this goal, because they're the ones that did put in all the hard work and went out and wrestled the matches. I didn't wrestle any of the matches, right? So, but it's fun. It's fun sharing the things I've learned through the sport and giving back, and hopefully it makes a difference somewhere along the line.
You bring up a good point, Chris, because like you said, until you get kids into it where they know they're going to be in the All-American round, you had 10 All-Americans in Greco, which is state record, correct? I mean, the average for years was maybe 4 or 5. I think 7 was the most. But you can have less wrestlers, but if you have more guys in the finals, that's more points, right? Yep. So I think when you had several kids make the finals and 2 at heavyweight with Mateo and Jones, that made a big difference right there. Yeah. So that's that. Like you said, you don't really know. I mean, I was tracking the whole thing, and it was like hard to tell until you got those guys in the medal rounds, and where they were placed made the big difference. So yeah. It's hard to. It's not like high school.
I think once the semis were done, that probably would have been the first team score that was posted, right?
Yeah, there was guaranteed place.
The worst a semifinalist can do is 6th, so they have 6th place points added in, right? So, but putting 4 guys in the finals, that obviously felt really good. I like the fact that it was still close. I like that, to be honest with you. Just creating these meaningful moments for the wrestlers to gain confidence from, just stepping up to the moment, right? Yeah. And, wrestling for yourself, but also wrestling for something bigger, in the pride of your state. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It brings the network even closer together, and maybe experience, right? I think everybody there is probably going to remember this for a long time. I know I will.
No, you hit a good point, because I knew that morning when I saw Hunter Anderson make the medal match. You had Packer winning those close matches. You had Morin. You had Gabe Rosales. When I started seeing that, you started seeing this upward trend, and the energy was building at that point. I mean, so that made a big difference early on to get him to that point of, getting that.
Going like 8-2 in the medal rounds, the placing rounds. I always evaluate how we did our job of preparation. And a lot of times that's not just the technical or the actual teaching of the martial art. It's the, putting them in a good place mentally, right? Where they can handle those high pressure situations, right? So that's fun. I enjoy that. It's a lot of fun.
No, because I've been to your Best on Best. I've been to Levi Jones. I've seen Soup List, the way they train, in many different rooms around the state I've been through. And they're basically simulating that environment of being at that national level, at least with the elite kids. The structure of the practice sort of simulates that. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, we're lucky. We have quality coaches throughout the state. Brian's brother Brock runs a strong club in East Idaho. We have really good, people that had wrestling experience beyond high school, and then the things that you learn, and then you can, learn how to pass that back and implement that into your practices, and make them, developmentally appropriate, right? Because I'm not sure I knew that until I started to specifically coach younger age groups. And I was like, wow, this is different. These kids can't practice for 2 hours. So I immediately shortened my practice. I've learned a lot. It's actually been really good for me professionally, to understand the skill sets that are important at these younger age groups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you brought up a great point of it's not just you. You're kind of the face of it as the lead general, but there are so many coaches, so many parents, and that's what I think is most rewarding is we did this as a state. Everybody came together to accomplish this and make this happen. Here's a comment from John. He says, "Thanks for all you do, Chris." And I think we all echo those sentiments. If anybody else has any quick last minute shout outs or questions for Coach Owens, we're going to get ready to pivot to our next guest. So get them in quickly here. But I just want to say once again, I moved to Idaho only 4 years ago. Al is a relatively newcomer to Idaho. Also, we've been pretty spoiled here because we got here and all this groundwork that had been laid before we moved to the state. And just to see it pay off has been incredible. So,
well, I got to say thanks for getting the word out about our sport into the community, beyond the wrestling community in Idaho, because I hear a lot of positive feedback regarding the show. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on, Coach Owens. Congratulations again on this great accomplishment. First championship in Idaho history at Fargo. And now we're going to talk to some of the athletes that made it happen. Like you said, you didn't get any of the points. All these great athletes did. So Coach Owens, thanks for coming on and hang around and hear what all these great athletes have to say as well. We really appreciate it.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the opportunity.
Take care, Coach. Yep. We've got one more comment coming in here on YouTube from Hoyt Haas. Thank you so much, Coach Owens. Yes. Okay. Let's bring on our first guest, guys. This is the biggest, baddest heavyweight in the state of Idaho. It is the Bora High Lion, Aiden Ateo. Hey, Aiden, thank you for coming on and doing this. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and just talk about the state and the wrestling we've been doing.
Yeah, it's been incredible. So any fan that's watching live right now, first of all, hit that like button and also share this when it's done. So more and more people can see our great Idaho athletes talking about what makes this state so great. But if you've got a question or a shout out for Aiden, go ahead and throw it in the comments and we'll get it up on the screen as we're talking tonight. But you have been a busy guy this summer. How many flyer miles have you picked up flying to all these different competitions?
It's been a lot for sure. It's been a lot of traveling, going from Pan Ams to Fargo to World Team Trials to Worlds to training camps. It's been a lot of traveling, and it's been a lot of frequent flyer miles. So it's been hard to come back, but I'm glad it's part of it. I'm glad I was part of it, and I'm glad I was able to do it and help represent Idaho on not only the national stage but the world stage.
Go ahead, Al.
How long, Ryan? Aiden?
What's up?
When did you get home from Worlds?
Sunday night.
All right, so you're recovering from the trip then.
A little bit. I've been sleeping I slept most of yesterday, and I slept half of today. So
good. Well, you represented us well there too.
I appreciate it. I wish I could have done better, but it is what it is.
Quarterfinal, there's no shame for sure. Pan Am champ. You're representing Idaho well on the world stage, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, Aiden, I want to congratulate you. It's been fun watching you. I look forward to watching you in the future. I mean, 3 Fargo titles you won. You've had 5 finals appearances. Winning the gold you're in Santiago, Chile. Congratulations on that and everything. I know you're not happy with your performance at the Worlds, but the best advice I ever got from a coach was sometimes you don't achieve what you want, but take that pain and that pain from not a loss, put it in energy and, find a new goal and let that propel you where you're at. And I know you'll be fine. Just follow your dreams, brother.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I'm disappointed in how I did, obviously. But sickness, it's something I can't control. So I've kind of came to terms with it. And I've just realized that I'll just use this as kind of like a driving force and driving fuel and just continue to get better and perfect what I do and why I do it.
Hey, Jordan Burroughs had those days too. Everyone has those days.
So Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Okay. So are the bags packed for Pendleton? You got everything arranged there?
Yeah. I actually head up there the week before Labor Day. I'll be up there for a little bit before I head down to Elite Eight duels in Atlanta.
Good. Well, we're excited to watch you there too. The next chapter, right?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, like I said in the intro, there is no off season in wrestling. There is just one competition to the next. I wanted to ask you at Fargo, where was the moment where you faced the most difficulty? It could have been an early match. It could have been the finals. Where did you really have to dig deep and give it everything you had?
That kind of, I mean, my finals match of freestyle, that was kind of everything I had. That was just kind of everything from traveling kind of caught up with me. The jet lag, all the travel legs, everything caught up with me there. I would say where I really kind of had to give it all, though, was my round of 16 match in Greco. It was like 1-1 going into the break, went out, hyperextended my elbow about 30 seconds into the second. I literally thought I broke it. But I was like, I'm not going to go out. I lost in freestyle. I was like, I'm not going to go out this way. So I'll push through it. I'll deal with whatever happened with my elbow later. So honestly, it was probably that match where I had to fight through the most, like physical fatigue, mental fatigue, just trying to push through everything there.
Yeah, it was incredible to see everything that you've accomplished and continue to accomplish. My question is that what goals are left for you? What goals do you still have in your sights? You have checked a lot of boxes off on the list.
Yeah, I've checked a lot off, but that elusive title still out there. So a world title still one of the top goals right now. Olympic trials, that's a big one. So I'm really training for those right now, if you want my honest answer. For my Olympic red shirt and everything, I'll be traveling for a lot of training camps and everything. So I'm training to win that world gold next year. And then I'm training to get that Olympic team spot. Whether it happens or not, it is what it is, but I'm training for that.
Oh, I was going to ask that. So that's a plan. You plan right away to take the Olympic red shirt year, the first year then, and go compete?
Yeah, that's the goal. I'll be doing a lot of the senior level competition. I'll be on the senior level a lot this year. Yeah, along with doing all my age group eligibility stuff with U20s, I'll be doing a lot of senior stuff too.
Good. Very exciting. Can't wait to watch that then.
Yeah, you're doing the right thing, because I remember Robbie Smith. He was from my area. I remember he was a kid. He was a Greco Olympian, and he pretty much did the same thing out of high school. He started setting that trajectory to get on the Olympic. That was his goal at an early age, and it made a big difference. Took his lumps in the beginning, but then he started to adapt, and he moved up and finally made the Olympic team.
Yeah, that's kind of where I obviously know. I mean, it sucks. You hate losing. You hate giving up points, especially to these good dudes. But that's what I know what's going to happen, and I'm ready to take those lumps, and I'm ready to try and figure out what I need to do to beat these top dudes at this weight, and figure out what I need to do to be the best at this weight.
Yeah,
I know you got conditioning, brother, so that's one positive right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love your driving, your motivation. Here's a question from HA. He says, Aiden, what was the favorite moment of the year for you?
Ooh, that's a good one. Fargo was up there. I mean, it was a last hurrah with a lot of these kids I've grown up with. You know, Hudson, Mac, Tragan, Morin. We've been really close just growing up wrestling together on teams, national teams, dual teams. You know, Matthew Martino, all these kids. I grew up wrestling with these kids, either wrestling against or wrestling with. You know, I grew up wrestling with these kids, and it was kind of like a last hurrah with some of these kids, where it was like, this is my last chance to compete with these kids I grew up with, these kids I consider family. So I'm like, I'm going to go out and do it. So I would say Fargo was probably top. Worlds was top. I mean, I went out there sick, but, you know, you got to go out there and compete. That's kind of what I did. So Worlds is definitely up there strictly just because of the way I competed, even though I was sick and didn't perform my best, I still went out there and tried to put everything out there I had.
Yeah, and that's a valuable lesson for anyone that's watching that is younger. It's not just wins and losses. It is giving your absolute best, even when you are not at 100%. And as long as you do that, you can walk away feeling okay about how things. But obviously, you want the win as well. But Jacob wants to know: red shirt next year or get right to it in the lineup? Of course, you're going to Oregon State at the college level.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my Olympic red shirt next year for sure. I'll take my Olympic red shirt, and then I'll be training. So Olympic red shirt next year, and then, or I guess this year is a better term. So Olympic red shirt this year, and then the 2024 season. The goal is to just start in the lineup. So I'll go for my Olympic red shirt to start in the lineup.
I know some guys will finish high school a semester early so they can get to college a little earlier. Do you know what your plan is there?
I graduated, so I can just go up there when I want, and that's kind of what I'm doing. So I've been after high school, when the RTC became eligible, I started going up there training. I've been training a lot. I trained a lot up there. I trained with Kodiak, who was a world team member with me last year. I trained with Charlie Hastard, who went to Capitol, worked some freestyle with him, went Kodiak with Greco. So it'll be a lot of training up there with those guys, and then I'll be traveling a lot to the OTC and back here at Suples a lot too.
Yeah. You bring up a good thing, Aiden. You were talking about your friends like Tragan Morgan. Suples, I think, had 5 or so guys placed at the Nationals in Greco. But, you got, Morin, you got kids like Mauger, Martino. You guys love the sport. So you embrace the process. A lot of people have goals, but they don't understand the process. And you guys live the process. That's what it takes to get to that next level. I mean, you're talking about it. You're going from point A to point B, and it takes a lot to do that. You got to love wrestling and be willing to do the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a comment here from the Idaho USA Wrestling. Aiden, proud of you, pal. Way to set the bar high for all future seniors in wrestling in Fargo your senior year. Always enjoyed working with you and wish you all the best going forward. Coach Owens is a big fan. It was such a glowing comment. He had to put it into it didn't all fit in one speech bubble. So describe that relationship between you and Coach Owens. He seems like the kind of coach that really knows how to push the right buttons and handle the different personalities in different ways.
Yeah, no, he is. Owens, I've had a really good relationship with Owens ever since I was a kid. When he coached at BSU, I would always go and watch the duels. Chris Caldwell, Austin Dewey, those guys, Georgi Ivanov, as much as, everything happens with everything and everything happened and, them cut the program. Those were some of the dudes I looked up to, Chris, Dewey, Carson Kuhn, he was another one. Owens, they were all dudes I looked up to. So I've had a really good relationship with Owens. He's coached me since I was little. Obviously if you have your club coach, available, you're going to take your club coach because that's who you're most comfortable with, who you've trained with the most, who you've practiced with, spent so many hours in the room with. But outside of like my club coaches, outside of like Mikko, Yvonne, Paul, those guys, Jano, I would say Owens is probably like the second, like the person right after all of them that I would like want to have in my corner if I couldn't get any of those guys. So I have a great relationship with Owens. I have great respect for Owens, and he's doing great things. And if he keeps doing it, it's gonna keep trending upwards with the state.
Definitely, guys. Any last questions or comments before we bring on our next guest?
Good luck, Aiden. Can't wait to watch you moving forward, man.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Once again, follow your dreams, man. Follow your dreams.
I will.
All right, Aiden Ateo, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be watching. So,
appreciate
all right.
it.
Okay. Well, guys, let's bring on our next champion wrestler from Fargo, and this is all he does is win. Al, you know that he broke some records in the process. Representing Blackfoot, it's Mac Mauger. Mac, can you hear us all right?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Al, set this up. You're always diving into the data, and what Mac has done at Fargo no other Idaho wrestler has ever accomplished.
No, he broke the record. He tied the record last year of 4 Fargo individual titles. Then 5 is the record right now, I believe. So Hayden Tuma, right? I believe you and Hayden were tied. Now you got 5, so that's a state record. It's going to be very difficult to break the ultimate All-American record with Ridge Levitt. He has 10. There's only a handful, but that's just with COVID and certain things happening. Some people won't get that opportunity. But nonetheless, to win 1 Fargo title is a lot, but to win 5 is incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So all of our Idaho wrestling fans that are watching live, if you want to give a shout out to Mac or ask Mac a question, throw it in the comments. We'll throw it up on the screen. How did it feel? You've had individual success at Fargo before, obviously, but how did it feel when you heard that as a team, you guys had brought home the title?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really special. Kind of like Aiden said, like our friendships that we've had, like the kids on the team, like are my best friends, and we've been competing and wrestling together since we were 6, 7 years old. And it was just really special to be able to win that and make history together.
As an East Idaho guy, Brian, what's it been like to watch Mac represent, Blackfoot and the community, but also East Idaho? There's a lot of rivalries in East Idaho, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of mutual respect too.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been amazing to watch Mac. I'm at Skyline, so we are in the same district as Blackfoot, but I can't help but cheer for these guys. Just, it's the work ethic. When kids like Matt come on, unless it's my kid, it's hard not to cheer for him. And luckily my kid's been bigger, so it's been fun. And, the whole East Idaho is just proud of Mac for what he's done and just kind of watching as he travels. So, we're all fans and cheering him on everywhere he goes. And so it's great. Yeah.
One more thing, Mac, you're the 4th person in Idaho to win 6 All-American honors in Fargo. So I'm not sure if you're aware of that. Going to you, Brian, you talk about East Idaho. So you've known with some of my articles, I'll create a map and I'll show wherever all the All-Americans are coming from in the state. And, there's a large cluster in the Treasure Valley, but if you look at the southeast side of Idaho, there's a lot of All-Americans that come from those rural, small town areas. I mean, so when we're talking per capita population, actually that section per capita just in the state is producing a lot of All-Americans. It's impressive what's going on in that part of Idaho.
Yeah. What was the reaction when you got home, Mac?
Oh man. Yeah. A lot of congratulations. A lot of people reaching out to me. It was really cool. A lot of fun.
So are you planning on Fargo next year? I mean, I know you're headed off to Missouri. Is that the plan? You're going to hit Fargo one more time?
Yeah, I plan on wrestling at Fargo next summer and see if I can keep winning on the stage. And yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, that's exciting. I think we only lost 4 of the 10 All-Americans this year. So Idaho's bringing back a good team. We have some strong cadets that are going to bump up. So that'd be pretty awesome to win another state title. And I think there's a chance.
For sure.
So Mac, I got a question for you. Earlier on, I was talking about, a lot of people, they want to win an All-America. They want to place at state or win state. There's a process that you have to go through, and you have to love wrestling. And you've been doing this for a while. Can you just explain your process and how you got here? It didn't happen by accident. It took a lot of work.
No, yeah. So I've just been wrestling since I was little. I've traveled a lot. I traveled from a little age to Wendell and met up with coaches, and I've traveled a lot in my life and worked really hard and just have to stay consistent with it. And when it gets hard, just remember why you do it. And they love the sport, and just stay consistent with your hard work, and it'll pay off.
Yep. Thank you.
That's something. I don't know if people realize how much you travel for practice. You say, Wendell, I know you were going over there for practice, but just to find practice partners, how much travel time a week do you think you put in? I mean, still now traveling.
Yeah. So still, even today, I drive to Wendell. That's a 2-hour drive to meet up with Chris, and then I'll drive to St. Anthony to wrestle with the Upper Valley Ace guys, and then I'll drive to American Falls, and I'm pretty much driving every day at least an hour to practice. So
So I want to add one more thing. So I remember when I interviewed you and I did that article, what people also realize you're a great student as well. And your academics are up there too. So, part of the process is compartmentalizing time through the day to do academics, household stuff, wrestling. That takes a lot. So I commend you on being able to manage all that.
Thank you. Yeah, you just have to prioritize my time and just get the things that matter done.
Exactly.
Definitely. Yeah, we're getting some comments here. Lizzie says, "Go Mac." Thanks, Lizzie. Appreciate it. Coach Owens had a question for you too, and I was going to ask something similar. So Coach Owens on YouTube asks, "Mac, haven't seen you come from behind too many times in your matches. You typically get the lead and then stretch it out as the match goes on. What did you learn about yourself coming from behind 3 or 4 matches in a row on the consolation side?" Sorry, the question was so long, Coach Owens. But I was going to ask that too. What was the toughest moment where you faced some adversity?
Yeah, for sure. The toughest moment was losing a match. I was the 1 seed in freestyle and losing my quarterfinals match to a kid that I beat just a few weeks before at junior duels. Just a loss that kind of stung. And yeah, like that question said, as I don't come from behind much, and in my matches in the blood round and all my matches on the backside, I was losing at one point in the match, and just found a groove and just kept focus and just listening to Chris in my corner, and he was just helping me through it, and just had to stay focused and dialed in, and just had to find a way.
Yeah, what's your relationship like with Coach Owens?
It's great. I've always known Chris, but I've really started working with him starting like my freshman year, and man, it's been a lot. I've learned so much from him, and I really couldn't do it without him, and it's been special.
Yeah, I was going to ask you too. At Blackfoot High School, there seems to be just this pipeline of Division I athletes lately in all sports. We had Javante King play football at Montana State. Dax Whitney is going to be a pitcher at Oregon State. Even on the girls' side, Whitney Christensen is going to run track at Utah Tech. Of course, what you're doing, great cross-country runner, is going to Oklahoma State. So there's all these D1 athletes coming through at Blackfoot. Do you guys, does that motivate you to be the best in your sport and get a D1 scholarship too?
Yeah, it's been way cool. I was talking to my principal, Matt Thomas, the kid that's committed to Oklahoma State for cross country. I was talking to him, and he was telling me that the most D1 athletes have come out of Blackfoot in the last few years and like of all time. So it's been really special, and we're all kind of like friends, and it's been really cool to see, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just so incredible to see that continuing to come from Blackfoot, Idaho. You guys are really putting the Broncos on the map for sure. So nice job.
Thank you.
So, Mac, are you looking forward to the folk style season? What's your favorite? You like Greco, freestyle, folk, all the same?
Personally, I'm a freestyle guy. I like freestyle the most, but I'm looking forward to folk style, ready to switch it up. And yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be good.
I know there's rare times where you're not wrestling or traveling to practice but what do you like to do for fun? What are some of your hobbies?
Man. I'm kind of more outdoorsy. I've been out. I went hiking this summer, gone fishing, just kind of mountain biking. Just try to do something different, switch it up, get outside a little bit.
Yeah, and Al talked about the academic component too of being a student athlete. Is there a favorite class you've got at Blackfoot High?
Not really. I just try to do my best in all my classes and just work my hardest.
You just show up and put the work in, right?
That's exactly right.
For sure. If anybody in the chat, anybody has a question or a shout out for Matt, go ahead and throw it up on the screen. Al, you got anything else oh, here we go. Morgan Banta wants to know, Mac, who do you feel is going to be your biggest competitor this coming high school season? Love what you do.
Oh boy. I don't really know. I mean, I know there's Coulter. I've wrestled with him a lot from American Falls. Being close, we run into each other a lot and respect him a lot, and have had some good battles. Yeah, I don't know, Jackson Packer. I've wrestled with him a lot from South Fremont. I don't know. Excited to see what comes, but it'll be good no matter what.
how's the team in Blackfoot looking? You got them built up?
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. We're a little bit younger this year. We lost a lot of our seniors last year, but we'll be okay. We'll do good.
Yeah, I might have missed the news. Have they hired a head coach there?
Yeah, Lonnie Walker. He was one of our assistant coaches. He'll be our head coach this season.
Good. So a little continuity there at least.
Yeah, it'll be good. I'm excited for him, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Mac, it's been so much fun watching all of the great things that you have accomplished. What is left for you on the list in terms of goals that you've set?
So this coming season, I think I'm gonna go to the Ironman again. I got 6th there last year. Want to go back there and do better. Want to go to the Doc B. I won it my sophomore year. Got 3rd last year. Try to win that and then make a world team this year, a U20 world team. Those are the goals.
That's great. I love it. What do you have a favorite competition you like to go to, whether it's Fargo or Doc B, or do you have a favorite you like traveling to?
I gotta say, the last few years it's been Fargo. It's been fun.
Yeah, it always helps when you're winning. That's for sure.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
All right, guys. Any more questions for Mac before?
No, I just want to wish you the best next year. I know you're going for number 4 in Idaho. Just pursue it. I commend you. I watched you in Fargo, and I saw that match you lost, but you held your composure, which was really impressive. And every match, you just stayed in the match the full time. And I commend you for coming back and taking that solid 3rd place. That says a lot. That was very impressive. Keep. You'll need that in D1, my friend. You'll be able to do that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Keep up the good work, man. I look forward to next year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Definitely. A couple more shout outs and one last question, and then we'll let you get out of here, Mac. Lizzie says, "Go Broncos. Thanks, Mac, for being a great role model for my son." And that's really what it is. You're laying the groundwork for the future wrestlers of Idaho as well. Jesse Ateo says, "Proud of you, Mac. We'll be cheering you on." Yes, we will. And then Morgan had one more question. Do you have a specific career you would like to pursue?
I've been asked that a lot lately, I guess, but I don't know. I've told like my parents and stuff. I don't know. I've my whole life has been involved in wrestling, and I think it would be cool to be a coach and just to stick with wrestling and stick with what I love. So maybe one day be a college coach and see where I go.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great goal to have for sure. And you could always become a talking head if the coaching thing doesn't pan out.
There you
be
go.
A wrestling commentator.
There you go.
All right, Mac Mager, the pride of Blackfoot. Thanks so much for hopping on, and good luck here as we're getting into the high school season as well. We'll be keeping an eye on you. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mac.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys, we got one final wrestler we want to bring on here. He brought home some hardware from Fargo as well. Saxton Scott, one outstanding wrestler at Fargo. Saxton, thanks for hopping on. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. I'm glad you could make it. How exciting was it to be a part of this Fargo winning team, the first in Idaho history?
It was a great experience. It was only my 2nd year at Fargo as well, and last year took 3rd, and so this year I've worked a lot harder, I'd say, this year. So I was coming in with higher hopes than last year, and then especially winning the team title was awesome too. So.
Yeah, definitely. And Brian, I can't help but notice this is another East Idaho guy representing Bonneville High School. There's something in the water over in East Idaho, right?
Yeah, again, same district as Skyline, but we practice with Saxton on a daily basis throughout the season, so it's fun to watch him. And I mean, always the first one there, putting in extra sessions. It's impressive to watch Saxton's work ethic and see what he does. You excited to be a junior? So you got 2 more years at Fargo, Saxton. So you excited for hit the junior division next year? And
Definitely, yeah. I think it'll be really fun.
And you wrestled junior, I guess, in freestyle this year, right?
Yeah, I won Folk Style Nationals. I double bracketed, and I won in my junior bracket. So we tried to go for the triple crown, but then I lost in freestyle, So decided to go back to 16U for my last 16U tournament. So.
Well, I think, with you at juniors next year, I was saying we lost only 4 of the 10 All-Americans in the junior bracket this year. So, we add you to the junior team next year in Greco, and I think Idaho is in good position again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to get some comments and some shout outs in here. John says, proud of you, Saxton. Yes, we are. And then Amy says, it was so fun to watch and cheer for you. Our family is excited to watch you this year and season. That's the Skellinger family, so that's high praise. Lizzie says as well, good job, Saxton. Gator enjoyed cheering you on. Way to be a positive role model. Keep it up. So, I mean, shower the love for sure. If you're in the chat and you want to ask Saxton a question or give him a shout out like we just had, we will throw it up on the screen. Just type it into the comments and we'll make sure that Saxton gets all of the shout outs and questions there. What was it like coming back home after going to Fargo and competing so well over there?
It was fun. A lot of people had a lot of congrats. A lot of people say congrats and a lot of support, really. A lot of support from my family and friends. And
So when you won the outstanding wrestler, were you surprised? Were you anticipating that? What'd that feel like?
I didn't think I was going to get it. I didn't really think anything of it. I wasn't going into the tournament wanting to get it, but I just wrestled me and kept going. And then eventually my coaches told me I got it. And that was super exciting. Great. One of the best experiences I've ever had. So
yeah, I don't know, Al, has there been an OW? There probably has from Idaho. Who was the last OW we had at Fargo, if we have?
That's a good question. I don't have that answer. That's something I need to dig into, but I don't know if Rich Love, he had 10 All-Americans and he won it 3 times, but I'm not sure if he was OW. I can't recall. But Saxton, congratulations for accomplishing that. I watched you at the national camp and, you're talking 3 practices a day, hard, tough, and you work hard every round of that day. So it didn't happen by accident. You put in the time, effort, worked hard. So congratulations.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to Fargo and you won 6 matches in a row to get to the finals. What was going through your head as you kept just piling up the wins and getting further and further into that bracket?
Just one thing I've had a problem with is looking further into the bracket and see what I have and kind of get into my head. So I kind of this year just took it one match at a time, and whoever I had next, and just kept doing that. So
yeah, I know your matches were super fun to watch. A lot of high flying throws there. Did you give up a point in Greco? I can't remember. I think you made it through without giving up a point.
I gave up 1 point. I went for an arm spin and got 2, and then he got behind, so that's how he got his
1 point. That's pretty impressive too.
Yeah, that was something else. Okay, we've got Coach Owens with a question here. A great job in Fargo, Sax. Love your grit. Keep it up, partner. And then he said, to answer your question, Brian, I think Hayden Tuma. Year, not sure, but that was a while ago. Hayden Tuma,
probably 2014, around there, I would think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's few and far between for sure. And look at this comment from Brian Skellinger. Idaho's biggest D1 prospect, Saxton Scott, possible 125-pounder. What do you think about that, Saxton?
It's cool to see that. I like that comment. Excited to go on visits this year and see what my future holds. So,
yeah, what do you think about 125?
Hopefully, I don't grow anymore. I'm kind of getting to that weight already. So,
yeah.
We still got 2 more years. If I grow, then I grow. But if I don't, then 125 is a great weight.
Yeah, I think that's a good landing spot for you for sure. So yeah, have you started looking at colleges? Have colleges started reaching out to you, or is that more of a next year type of thing?
Yeah, I'm talking to a few. I haven't been on any visits yet, but just calls and stuff like that. So.
Sure. What are some goals that you've set for yourself for the upcoming season?
For the upcoming season, I want to make a world team. I'm still U17, so I got one more year at that. And then Fargo again and win state this year too. I haven't won state yet, so.
Yeah, that bracket at 4A last year at state was tough. There's a lot of good dudes.
Well, we had Gabe Rosales. You and Gabe have wrestled a lot, and Gabe's a 2-time All-American, from Mountain Home. So, yeah, it makes it tough, but it also makes you better too when you have that kind of competition within your state. So,
So I asked Mac the question: what's your favorite style, Saxon? You like Greco, freestyle, or folk?
I think Greco and freestyle I have the most love for. I don't really like folk style that much, but
we're
you can't get those 5-point throws in folk style, right?
Yeah.
So I got a question for you, Saxon. I mean, to do what you guys are doing, you have to love wrestling. You have to put the time in. And a lot of people dream, but they're not willing to wake up and reinforce that dream by getting up early in the morning and actually doing something and chasing it, right? So can you tell me your process, how many years you've been wrestling, what you've been doing to get to this point?
Yeah, I've been
for the young wrestlers, right, that are watching.
Yeah, I've been wrestling since first grade, I think. And, you just kind of, when you go to practice, you got to give everything 100%. You don't go to practice to talk to your friends or socialize. If you have goals, you got to write them down. I always constantly think about my goals and know what I want to do and go to practice and always give it your all, even put in extra. And, yeah, just always give it 100%.
You can dream, you can wake up and keep dreaming about your dreams, or you can get up and reinforce them through hard work. And that seems to be the theme with you and everyone else that's done to this level. So good luck next year. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So you mentioned wrestling from first grade on. What advice do you have to those first and second graders out there that may check this out?
I played other sports, so I wouldn't get burnt out of wrestling. Always liked wrestling the best. I started only doing wrestling in freshman year, and I haven't got burned out. I don't think I will get burned out ever. I really love it. So, but yeah, for when you're young, I definitely say play other sports and but if wrestling's what you want to do, keep loving it. So
it's good advice.
Yeah, I love it. We're getting some questions from the chat here. HA wants to know Saxton favorite team moment, and he's got like your resume: double All-American at junior duels, a moment with your high school team, Fargo Greco team championship. He says we really enjoyed watching you this year. Super impressive. Do you have a favorite team moment from this past year?
Team moment. Gotta say, winning the team award at Fargo, that was like awesome experience from your friends that you've grown up together, like Mac and Aiden said, like you've grown up with all of them. So it's super fun to be with all of them, and even the coaches that were there, like Ridge Lovett could be a part of it. He was a past wrestler at Idaho, and it was just fun to get all of us together and win it.
That's something that you'll remember for the rest of your life. I mean, to be a part of Idaho history, it's just incredible. John wants to know, what tournaments are you planning on going to this year, Saxton? Do you know yet?
I know I'm going to Super 32 is the most recent one, and then all the ones that I went to last year, and maybe I want to go to Doc B as well. So
that'd be a good tournament. I recommend going.
Yeah,
you'd see some good competition. Where did you go last year?
For substitute of Doc B, or no?
For like when you were competing during the season, where did you said you wanted to go to all the same places you went to last year?
Yeah, Fargo, US Open, those were the two main ones. Junior duels was a fun one. Fargo Nationals, hit that one again. That I think that was mainly it for last year.
Yeah.
No,
Brian says,
sorry about that. What were you saying?
I was going to say, Brian says Super 32 is coming quick.
Good tournament. Good tournament. Saxon, I've been to the Dockby many times. It's where I came from. The Walsh Ironman, those type of tournament. I think it's just called the Ironman now, not the Walsh Ironman. To prepare you for college, those tournaments for a high school level are simulating somewhat what you would see in Division I, right? That kind of level each round and competition. So I would recommend if you can go to something like that before you go to college, it'd be a good experience.
Will do.
Definitely. If anyone's got any last questions or shout outs for Saxton before we let him go, throw them in the comments and we'll make sure that he sees them. Brian, Al, do either of you have any last questions for Saxton?
I got to ask how Bonneville's looking. I know Coach Bonneville, your coach, travels back to Fargo with you, which is, super nice to see the high school coaches back there. What do you think this season? What's your call? You going to win district?
I think we could do it this year again. I don't think we'll be too bad. I think we were pretty good last year. I think we could be just as good this year as well. So.
Nope. I don't have anything. I just want to once again congratulate you for doing a good job in Fargo. I know you worked hard. Watched you at the camp. Good luck next year.
Thank you.
Yep. One last comment here from Christine. Loved watching you compete, Saxton. So proud of you on and off the mat. Yes, we all are. You're such a great example for all of the younger athletes that are looking up to you, Saxton. So keep up the good work. And thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah, of course. All right, Saxton. Have a good one.
You as well.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
All right, guys. We'll just kind of wrap up here real quick with some last minute thoughts here. I thought this was really cool, Al. We talk about this all the time, that the reason we do what we do, all the great content you write, the podcast that we do each week, is to shine the spotlight on these incredible Idaho high school athletes. And I thought this was great. Getting some of the actual athletes themselves on to talk to us was fantastic.
No, it was great. Like I said earlier, since I've been here, I knew something special was happening. But as I dig into the history and the statistics, it didn't happen by accident. So if you put things in perspective, in the 1980s, and it was sort of back then, you just had junior division until probably around 85. They went from the 1980s up to 89, that first decade, on average of producing 2 All-Americans a year. Some years they had 0. You fast forward to today and up to 2023, and that's almost 950% increase of All-Americans, to where, you look at I think Chris came on in 95, and it was right around that time. You had cadets, and then girls came in 2008. They started wrestling, so that started factoring in. So when you look at the last 20 years, it just kept exponentially going up, and 100% better each year. Just the last 3 years alone, we've had, 24 All-Americans in 21. We had, I think, 21 and 22. Then last year, 19. So they're putting in the time, the systems in place. It's like the movie Field of Dreams. If you build it, they'll come. And I think as a whole in Idaho, they built the vision, and people are reinforcing it throughout the state. And if we continue this, per capita, we are the best small school state in the country. Iowa's right there too. They only got like 3 million people. Oklahoma has about 4 million. So we have 1.9. So we've proven to the next generation that with small population, hard work and commitment, following the vision, you can do it.
Definitely. I want to give one last plug here to everybody that's watching live tonight. If you could please hit the like button and then share this, it'll help all the people that couldn't be here tonight. There was a political debate going on tonight as well that we went head to head with. But I'm sure there's going to be lots of people that are tuning in tomorrow, the next day, even next week or next month. This is something that is going to be a valuable resource for all of the younger athletes in Idaho to look up to these incredible talented wrestlers that accomplished Idaho history. So if you could hit that like button and share, this is going to help everybody else find it a little bit easier. Brian, I wanted to ask you, you're the only, born and bred Idaho guy on the panel. So what did it mean to you as somebody who's an Idaho native to see Team Idaho come back with the Fargo championship?
I mean, it was amazing. I was back at Tulsa at junior duels, and to see both Greco and freestyle, I think it's the first time also in history that Idaho's been in the top 8 in both styles at junior duels. So that was super exciting watching that team. And then to go to Fargo and to win the Greco title, it's just an amazing feeling. And to see those kids, a lot of them that, I've watched since they were 5 years old, Max, Saxon, I remember watching them when they were teeny, and then to see the future, like Al said, what we've got coming back, the 6 All-Americans and the 2 All-Americans that were cadets this year will be back. The girls side of it, we didn't get to mention a lot today, but that, Cadence Gerg, wins it there, and she's going to be on the Who's Number One, which is a big deal, which will be live. So, future's bright, and love what they built. And, I think you're right. The little kids see this, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, Al, tell us a little bit about Cadence Gerg, because I'll admit that wasn't a name that was on my radar. And then I saw what she accomplished, and she's got a pretty incredible story.
She originally comes from Washington. I think they recently moved here. I first saw her at tournament list. I'm like, who's Cadence? Who's this girl? I saw her at the national camp, and I didn't know who she was. At first, I thought she was one of the coaches, because we had some of the ladies that were coming back from college, and I thought she was one of the coaches. I introduced myself. She goes, I'm Cadence Gerg. I'm wrestling. And I watched her train, and in my head, I'm like, wow, this girl can win it. She's tough. And I know she has goals of maybe going to the Olympics and world. And I can tell you right now, she can do it if she sets her mind to it. So she's exceptionally tough.
Yeah, we here in Idaho welcome Cadence with open arms. So
she's tough.
High school coaches should be hitting her up, because she didn't wrestle folk style last year. She trains with her dad a lot, and she's got a year of eligibility. So if I'm over that area, I'm saying, Cadence, we could use you here.
Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, congratulations to Cadence as well, bringing home a championship from Fargo. One last thing I wanted to touch on before we took off, guys, was a story that came out just in the last week, 10 days, maybe, an alumni of Idaho wrestling that has now moved on to the college level. Cade Orr had a pretty scary accident. He was out, hiking with Tate Gillette, good buddy of his. And Al, this was kind of a scary deal. Take us, for those that may not have heard what happened, kind of describe.
I think they were hiking up in some part of Idaho in the mountain range area, and I guess he was ahead of Tate, and he slipped and was rolling down the hill. And I think, from what I understand, I could be wrong, Tate intercepted and caught him before he went over a partial ledge. I mean, at least that's what I heard. So I don't know 100%. So it could have been really bad. I know. I wish him a speedy recovery. He's in my prayers, because that's scary.
Yeah, so they were hiking in the White Cloud Mountains, which is up by Stanley, over in kind of central Idaho. And boulder came down and hit him and sent him tumbling. And, he was about to go over an 8-foot drop, and that's probably, the end of it. And then Tate, like you said, kind of intercepted him. And I mean, just an incredible, harrowing story. Cade is recovering, seems to be doing okay, but our thoughts and prayers are certainly with Cade and his family.
Nope.
Good reminder that life is precious for sure. And of course, Cade is wrestling at the college level out, one of these incredible Idaho talents, did it all at Buell, and now here he is at the college level.
4-timer, I believe, right, Brian?
Yeah.
He was a 4-time state champion.
Yep.
So no, these are good times, guys. These are good times. There's a lot of good things. I'm happy to be here. I feel very fortunate to be here in Idaho. Couldn't be in a better place right now.
Yes. So It was really fun to hop on and do this off-season Matt Chat Prepcast. We had to, right? After winning Fargo Nationals, we wanted to give the athletes some time to decompress a little bit. And for Aiden, who like just came back from Poland, right? We wanted to give him a little time to kind of get back into a normal swing of things. So that's why we didn't come on immediately after Fargo, but it was still great to bring these incredible competitors on and Coach Owens as well. And so big thanks to everybody who tuned in tonight. I'm sure we're going to get a ton of people that are going to come back and watch this on replay later on. But guys, I'm looking forward to having the Matt Chat, every week once we get into the high school season again this winter. I think it's going to be a good time.
Let's do it.
It's going to be fun.
We all signed 1-year contracts to do the Prepcast again.
We're on board. One other piece of news we should mention that happened just a couple weeks ago is another Idaho wrestler, Dan Erickson, took a job coaching at Air Force Academy. Coaching
really?
Another great Idaho, yeah.
Yeah, so, Iowa wrestler, right? He went to Eagle High School, then wrestled for University of Iowa, right?
Yep. So shout out to Dan. Congratulations. That's exciting.
Incredible. Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, and like Max said, maybe he wants to get into coaching too, and that's how the pipeline gets bigger and bigger. These athletes become coaches, and yeah, it's so great to see Idaho growing so much.
Well, the timing will be good because there's a lot of coaches my age and our age, and they're getting older. So probably by the time he gets done and gets in that position, there'll be some opportunity.
Definitely. We're seeing new coaches all the time at the high school level for sure, including at Blackfoot where Mac is wrestling. So yep. All right. Well, big thanks to everybody who tuned into this off-season edition of the Matt Chat Prepcast. We'll be back at it on a more regular basis as we get into the month of December and the start of the high school competition. And of course, we'll have a season preview. We will have our weekly rankings, ranking all of the individual wrestlers. Ooh, here's a comment, Al, from Brian. Now we can get Erickson back to coach Boise State.
You know what? That would be great. Idaho deserves a college program. Every leading indicator's there in the state. It would be great, whether it's an NAIA program or Boise State or wherever. We need college wrestling here because it's a lot of coaches that wrestled in college, Boise State or other. They're coaching now, and that's what's really making a big difference. But yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, it just boggles my mind that we have all this great talent, and it's awesome to send them off, but we're sending them out of state to go compete. It's just
12 D1 commits and about 30, almost 35 kids going to various colleges around the country. That's boys and girls. That's a lot, and there's about close to 80 kids wrestling around the country right now from Idaho. Yeah, collegiate programs. So
it's just incredible. So
yeah.
If you want your wrestling fix between now and when we get into more regular stuff in December, Al's continuing to work on all sorts of content that we'll continue to publish at IdahoSports.com. You can just search Al Fontes and you'll be able to find it. Al just did a recent Matt Chat with Ridge Lovett, and you did a great feature on the Valdez brothers from Bishop Kelly also.
Yeah, I tried to Matt Chat with Ridge Lovett. It's good to have a past wrestler come back and talk about his story, where he was and where he is. Did one with the Valdez brothers, Carlos and Manuel at Bishop Kelly. Also, I talked about their family because, we talked about the wrestler, but it's everyone that's involved in the process. And they're one of many families that made what happened this year possible because of the families and the volunteers and the commitment. We're not talking hundreds. We're talking thousands of hours travel, work hard. So we commend them.
Yeah. So those are the two series that Al does. Matt Chat is where he talks to a former prep wrestler in Idaho, catches up with them. They may be in college, they may be competing professionally, does a little Q&A, and then he's got his hidden gems of Idaho, which is current high school athletes that maybe you haven't heard about. And so, yeah, stay tuned for all of that great wrestling content at IdahoSports.com as well. All right, Al and Brian, thank you for hopping on in the off season to do this. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you,
Brandon. Thanks, Al. Appreciate Idaho Sports and the coverage they're getting. So
thank you.
Absolutely. Later. All right, we'll see you guys next time on the Idaho Matt Chat Prepcast on IdahoSports.com. Thanks for watching.